How to create your CGFNS account and apply for your CES report. Go online to Google and type in CGFNS International. Click on Nursing Credentials Evaluation Service. It's going to take you straight to the CGFNS portal, and then you can apply and continue to CGFNS Connect portal. You can start your journey as an applicant or an authorized agent. If you have somebody doing this process for you, then let the person start the journey as an authorized agent. But I'm assuming that you're doing it on your own. So you're just going to start your journey as an applicant. So you're going to create an account. It's going to ask you to put in an email address. Make sure that you put in the email address that you have access to, because CGFNS is going to send you a link that you will use to register in the CGFNS portal. There are times that it might take like 3 or 4 hours for you to receive this email. But once you receive the email, click on the link and it's going to take you back to CGFNS portal, where it's going to ask you to input the security code. The security code is inside the email you just received, so you can copy and paste it, or you can go back and forth and then you can verify the code. After verifying the code, it's going to give you a message: welcome to CGFNS Connect. Are you an applicant or authorized agent? So I'm going to be going as an applicant. And then step 1 is the account creation. It's going to ask you for basic information like your personal information and contact information. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using Allison Gray as my name. So first name Allison, last name Gray, and Gray is as my husband's name. So I'm going to be using date of birth. Well, most of the information here is just going to be forged. So date of birth will be 1st of January 1996. Existing information: do you have a CGFNS ID number? The answer is no. Additional qualifying information: do you have a passport? The answer is yes. So guys, you have to make sure that you have an international passport before you even start this process. So you go ahead and put in the passport number. Do you have a current or valid healthcare professional license? The answer is yes. Country that issued the healthcare professional license, that is Nigeria. State, province or territory. For this part, I'm just going to put data, but you can actually leave that blank. And then your license number. I'm just going to input any number that comes into my head. Now, educational information, that is the entry-level professional education that gave you this qualification. So jurisdiction country is going to be Nigeria. School name is State School of Nursing Warri. Completion year 2012. Terms and conditions. So I'm just going to accept that I've read the above terms and conditions and then submit to move to the next stage. The next stage, that's step 2, is security questions. Guys, please, when you're selecting your security questions, make sure that you pick questions that you have answers to, that you can remember. And after filling in the security questions, then I'll advise you to actually screenshot that page, because every time you log into your CGFNS account, they're going to ask you a random security question just to be sure that you are the holder of this account. Now, step 3, you're just going to set your password information, and then it's going to log you out and prompt you to log back in with your new login details. So you see a random security question has popped up that I have to answer. Now the next stage is to fill in your personal information. So in this stage, you can upload your applicant photo, you can put in your contact information. For your contact information, I really advise you to put in the address that you know you have access to. So if you are living in Nigeria right now, put in your Nigerian address, and if you are living in the UK, put in your UK address, because this is where CGFNS is going to be sending you letters, and if they want to reach out to you, this is the details that they are going to reach out to you with. I'm going to assume that I'm living in Nigeria, so I'm going to be using Nigerian address for both my mailing address and my physical address, and also a Nigerian telephone number. So there my contact information is filled in. If you are using an authorized agent, you have to put in the authorized agent's information in this particular part. And if you want somebody to call CGFNS on your behalf, maybe your friends or your family, then you have to input their names in this particular place, because every time you call CGFNS, they are going to ask you for your name and the CGFNS ID, and if that person does not have his or her name in your profile, they are not going to give that person access to discuss your application. At the next stage, I'm just going to look at the shopping cart because I want to prepare myself to know how much I'm actually going to pay. So you see under the fee schedule, they have different types of services, but you want to look at the CES professional report. This is the report that you should apply for if you are seeking licensure in United States, and that costs $450. For an expedited service, it's an additional $400, but you are going to get your CES report within 10 business days. For re-evaluation, you have to pay $275, and if your application expires and you want to reprocess it, you have to pay another $200, and additional report recipients $150. So we're just going to go back to the CES professional report and continue with this application. So I'm going to click on my profile. You will see that on the left hand side, you see this part that is blue. These are all the information that you need to input. So it's blue now because you've not done anything, you've not put any information. But as you go ahead, as you start filling in the application form, it's going to change from blue to yellow until you complete everything. So I'm just going to start the first part and fill in the contact information. Now, some of this information is already in our account when we created the account, so most of them is just going to copy and paste. Now, in these other names, this is for those that are married. So remember, I'm using Alison Gray as my current name, but before I got married, my maiden name was Okoro, so I'm going to use Alison Okoro. This is actually a mistake. Don't just use just Okoro here. Make sure you fill in your full name, Alison Okoro, at that point in time. So I'm going to continue to fill in the form. Have you been issued a United States Social Security number? The answer is no. Have you ever had a background check? The answer is no. Current citizenship, Nigeria. First language, English. Language you speak fluently, English. I'm just going to use Igbo as the second language. And then languages you write fluently, I'm going to use English. Professions, this is for the professions that you are seeking evaluation for, and this is like the registered nurse, so that's what I'm going to fill in here. And then the next part is my passport information, so I'm just going to write my passport number here, and then the country that issued the passport, which is Nigeria. So you see that this personal information part has turned yellow. So the next part is the contact information, and again, most of all this information we already feed in at the earlier part of this application, so they're just going to copy and paste. I'm just going to check to make sure that everything is just the way I want it, and then if everything is okay, I'm going to click on next to move to the next stage. The next stage is employment information. So in this part, I'm going to only be putting in my employment history for the past 5 years. If you're a new graduate and you don't have any employment history, click on not applicable to move on the next stage. But it's actually advisable to have at least 1 year work experience before you start this application. So I'm just going to assume that I have my 1 year or more than 1 year work experience, and I'm going to add my employer record. Is this employment for your healthcare profession? I'm going to say yes. Select profession, registered nurse, name of facility. I'm going to just say Hope General Hospital. I don't think that place actually exists, but you get the gist. Name of supervisor, Hope. And then the title or position of supervisor, it's medical director. So address of facility or organization. The country is Nigeria. You know what, for this address, I think you should just go online and copy and paste the address of your hospital or wherever you work. Just copy and paste it just to be safe, so you don't have any wrong information there, especially the postal code. Most of us don't really know a lot of postal codes in Nigeria, so just go online, copy and paste whatever is there. Now your position, your job title is registered nurse, job status full-time. and date employment started January 2012. Guys, when you're filling in these dates, make sure that you don't fill in a date that is before when you got your license. Otherwise, you're going to be asked by CGFNS to provide an explanation of why you were working as a nurse before you got your license. So keep that in mind when you are putting in dates in this application. Name when employed. So I'm going to be using my maiden name because I'm assuming that by that time I have not gotten married yet. So Alison Okoro, and primary language of the present population is English. So after that, I'm going to click next and it will take me to the next stage. So if I have other employer records that I want to impute, I can add it there. But for this application, I'm just going to leave it as that's Hope General Hospital and move to the next stage. Now with specialty certification, this is where you are going to put in all other specialty certificates that you have. So let's say, for example, you are a nurse and then you have your midwifery certificate, or you have your A&E certificate, or stuff like that. You can add that here, but guys, as a rule of thumb, I would say just skip it. For you to be a nurse in the US, you only need your 3 years diploma certificate or your 4 years BSc degree. If you put in other certificates here, then they are going to ask you to send in your transcript and license verification for those certificates. So just save yourself the headache, click on not applicable and move to the next stage. Next stage is continuing education / revalidation. So this is the stage where you have to put in those other applications that you have as per nursing. So for example, if you did the 3 years diploma nursing program and then later went ahead to do the 4 years BSc program, then you can add your BSc degree details in this part, but I'm just going to click not applicable and move to the next stage. The next stage is to put in your licensing information. I'm going to just be including my Nigeria license because remember, I'm assuming that I am a nurse in Nigeria and I'm not in the UK. So I'm going to be using my Nigerian license. Country, Nigeria. Authority, Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Profession is registered nurse. Title is general nurse. Title in original language is general nurse. Address of facility. Remember guys, that don't just forge address here. Go online and get the address to your nursing council and just copy and paste it, especially the postal code, so that if CGFNS want to reach out to them, they have the correct address to reach out to them with. So have you ever renewed the license? I'm going to say yes, because we renew our license every 3 years in Nigeria. Have your license number ever changed? I'm going to say no. Date license was issued is December 2012. Does your license expire? I'm going to say yes. Date expired November, 3 years time will be 2015. And name on license. So I'm going to use Alison Gray here because I'm assuming that I already changed my name from Okoro to Gray at this point. License number is Method of licensure, that's national, provincial, state exam, and license status is currently active. So was your license ever restricted, suspended, or revoked? The answer is no. After that, I'm going to click on submit and it will take me to the next page. So if you have another license you want to add to your application, you can add your licensing record here, but I'm just going to skip that and move to the next page. So the next page is to impute your registration exams. That's the exam you wrote that led to your license being issued. So country, I'm going to write Nigeria. State, I'm just going to leave that blank. Former name of license, I'm just going to leave that as other. License examination, Nursing Council qualifying exam. Authority is actually Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Address, remember guys, go online, copy and paste the address of the licensing authority, and then additional examination details. How many times did you write the exam? 1. Did you pass the examination? Yes. Date when you successfully graduated. So November 2012. Remember guys that dates are actually very important, so make sure that your dates actually rhymes with what you are filling in. Did passing this examination result in a license or registration? I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to submit and move to the next stage. The next stage is higher / tertiary education. in this part, you are going to put details of every associate, diploma, BSc certificate, every educational qualification that you have. So I'm just going to click on add higher educational record. Is this a professional license record? Yes. Profession, registered nurse. Education level, entry level education. Education type, diploma. Country/jurisdiction, Nigeria. And the name of school attended, State School of Nursing, Warri. Your name when you attended this school, Alison Okoro. Did you complete or graduate from this program? The answer is yes. Name of diploma, degree/credential in English. I can say yes here, but I'm just going to write the full name, that's registered nurse. And then name of diploma/degree/credentials in native language. You can say no, or you can just write registered nurse. Then admission/start date. Remember guys, the importance of your dates. October 2009, and completion is November 2012. So has the school closed? No. Has your school merged with another school? No. Address of the school attended, go online, copy and paste, and then submit. So the next stage is to complete the general education record, and in this part you have to put information about your primary and your secondary school qualification. So for primary, that's like the first 6 to 7 years of your educational history that allowed you to enter into secondary school, and then your secondary school education is like one that you completed that allowed you to enter the university. So I'm just going to start with the first one, which is the primary and lower secondary education. Country or jurisdiction is Nigeria. Name of school attended, Ugboka Primary School, which does not exist by the way. And your name when you attended this school is Alison Okoro. Did you complete or graduate from this program? The answer is yes. Name of the diploma, degree or credential in English. I can say yes, or I can say first school leaving certificate. And the name of the diploma, degree or credentials in native language, I can say no, but I'm just going to input the same thing there, first school leaving certificate. Were you required to sit for any external examinations in order to be granted access to higher education? The answer is yes. Name of the examining body is Basic Education Certificate Examination or Common Entrance. Common Entrance is very common, so I'm just going to use Common Entrance Examination. And then name of examination/certificate awarded, Junior Secondary School Leaving Certificate. Issue date is June 2001. Did you pass the examination? The answer is yes. Admission start date September 1997, and completion date is June 2001. Has the school closed or merged with another school? The answer is no. Address of school attended, country Nigeria, PO Box, street number. I'm just going to go online and copy and paste the address. So after that, I'll click on next, and then it's going to prompt me to add the secondary education information as well before it can move to the next stage. So I'm just going to go and include my senior secondary education or higher secondary education. Country Nigeria, name of school attended, Ugboka Secondary School, obviously. Your name when you attended this school, I'm going to go with Alison Okoro. Did you complete or graduate from this program? The answer is yes. Name of the diploma, degree or certificate in English, I'm just going to say yes here. Name of diploma, degree, certificate in native language, the answer is no. Were you required to sit for any external examination in order to be granted access to higher education? The answer is yes. Name of the examining body, the answer is NECO. You can write it in full, but I'm just going to leave it as NECO. Then name of examination, secondary school certificate. Issue date is June 2011. Did you pass the examination? Yes. Admission start date / month or year, that's June. No, actually I'm going to go with September 2004, and completion end date is June 2011. Has this school merged or has this school closed or merged with another school? The answer is no. And address of school, so country Nigeria and the address, just go online and copy and paste the address. Okay, so now we can move to the next stage. The next stage is the English Language Proficiency Test. So there are some board of nursing that will require you to pass the English language test before you can complete your registration with them. But for this application, I'm going to be using Texas Board of Nursing because Texas is one of the easiest states to apply to. They don't really require English language proficiency test, so I'm going to be using Texas, and I'm going to click not applicable in this part so I can skip to the next stage. So the next stage is to go through your personal profile summary. So this is just going through all the information that you feed in this application, and if there's anything that you are not comfortable with, if there's any information you want to change, remove or edit, this is the time for you to do it, because by the time you submit your application without making any changes and then you decide later on that you want to change something, you have to go through CGFNS to make that change, and that takes time at times. So it's better for you to go through your professional summary first. Left for me, I would even say print it out and go through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that everything is the way you want it before you click on submit, before you move on to the next stage. So I'm just going to quickly go through it and make sure that I like everything the way it is right now. Yeah, I think I'm happy with the way it is right now. I'm just going to submit and transmit to CGFNS. Although it's saying submit and transmit to CGFNS, it's actually not going to go to CGFNS until you have paid the application fee of $450. So even if you click this, you can still make some changes. The only time that you cannot make changes to it anymore is after you've paid the $450. So I'm going to go back to my shopping cart to pick what I really want. CGFNS has different services like you all know, but I'm going to be clicking the Credentials Evaluation Service because that is what I want. I'm looking for registration in the US as a nurse, so and the CES report has both professional and academic reports. Academic report is for those that want to go and school in the US, but for us, we are actually looking for registration, so we're going to go with the professional report. And then you have to add recipient. That is where you want your CES reports to be sent to. So what is the purpose of your report? It's licensure. What type of license are you applying for? Registered nurse. The state, like I said before, I'm going to be going with Texas. State Board of Nursing, that's Texas Board of Nursing, and then I'm going to submit. So if you want, you can add another recipient, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click on next to move to the next stage. Guys, your $450 actually covers evaluation of 2 transcripts and evaluation of 2 registration or licenses that were not issued in the US. So if you want to include another educational qualification, you can do that. If you are registered in the UK or another country, you can also do that, but I'm sticking with just Nigeria, and I'm going to tick what I want CGFNS to evaluate. So accept the terms and conditions and click next. You are also going to agree with the above attestation, and then you click next. So other summary. So just go through your contact information again to make sure that everything is the way you want it, and then you can click on purchase. Now because this is a trial order, I'm actually not going to click on purchase, but if you click on purchase, then it's going to link you directly to your bank, and it's going to say don't refresh this page. So you're going to wait for the payment to go through. After the payment goes through, you're going to receive another email from CGFNS confirming your payment, and that email is going to include your CGFNS ID number. So every time you call CGFNS, you have to quote your CGFNS ID number so they can trace your application and they can attend to you faster. If you are not subscribed to my channel yet, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop more videos. Until next time, I love you guys. Stay fabulous. Bye.